Number one, let's roll.
All right, welcome to Rapid Fire Manufacturing. Today I have Keith Granno. He's a veteran in manufacturing sales and operations. Keith has a wealth of experience connecting technical solutions with customer needs and turning challenges into opportunities. Keith, thank you so much for joining. I know people have probably seen you on Titans of CNC. If they use the internet at all, they've seen you.
Thank you very much, David. No, happy to be here. We talk about it all the time, right? The industry that we love. And I appreciate you having me on. It's crazy. I love the industry. I got into it at 23 years old, and here I am, an older guy now, 54. I'm the veteran in the industry. It's what they say. And I still, 30 years plus later, I love it and have a crazy passion for it. So no, appreciate sharing some time with you, 100%.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So, you've been through probably some very tough times selling technical solutions. How do you overcome some of those objections that you face or challenges?
Well, I think the easiest thing when you're coming up against it, like a technical solution, guy, when we go into a shop or when I was in the field and I was selling on a regular basis, we saw everything, right? You see gun parts, you see aerospace parts, you see medical parts, you see semiconductor, you see such a wide variety of everything. And the hardest part about giving somebody the right solution. Maybe it's not necessarily the most technical because again, all the parts have their own process. You have obviously GD&T, you got tolerancing that you got to worry about. You got different materials that you got to worry about. You have different quantities. Quantities are a big thing. Do we need to add automation? Is this more of a R&D and prototype solution that you're looking for? So when you come to the technical aspect, it's digging into the actual customer themselves and what they've seen from maybe the parts they're getting. Maybe it's a new customer, maybe it's some job they got from an existing customer. But always the great thing when I worked in the field was we had a wide variety to sell. So if it was a technical issue, generally, if it was tolerancing, we had one of what I felt was the best machines on the planet, Matsura. It was such a amazingly accurate machine, unbelievably reliable machine, and they had automation that was integrated from what they did. If it was something that was still, maybe it was tolerance, but it wasn't like totally tight, maybe it was within 5 or 10, 10's maybe getting a little stretched, but within 5, Haas covered a lot of what I did. I would say in my 30 years of selling, David, I probably sold well over 3,000 machines in my career. And I'd say of those machines, 70% of it was a Haas sale. It was putting guys in business. It was starting guys that had an idea kind of similar to what we're doing now at Titans with the Sile. It's a great starter machine, but at some point you need that higher end machine, that more capable machine to solve those technical issues. So without the ability to have a wide variety of machines to offer the customer for the correct solution, that's where you probably would run into a little bit. You never want to sell a customer a solution that you, in the back of your mind, maybe as a salesman, you're out there going, God, I don't know if this is going to work. You have to have all the confidence and conviction that it is going to work because you've done it many times in the past. So I'd say maybe not so much solving the technical aspect of the part because that's pretty easy with the machine you're selling them. You could definitely find that correct solution, but it's the right machine for the right part.
That's great advice.
Heck yeah.
Now, how do you build trust with technical buyers so you create value for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way, and again, I love and have so much interest in the customer. I tried to say this all the time. In fact, I said it, I was on the phone with a customer I sold a Sile to not that long ago. And I never wanted to be a salesman. God bless Bill Selway. He brought me into this industry at a young age. And he got me, 90 days in service. I didn't know what a machine tool was. So he put me in the service side of things. And I'm answering your question in a roundabout way. But, what I learned from being in service, everything I needed in the education about the machines, from the first time I smelled coolant and saw chips fly, I was sold. So my interest level of the customer was so good. Like, Titan says it all the time. You know, when I would go call on him when he was at a job shop before I sold him his machines to start him in business, you know, I'm just a fan of walking into a shop and seeing what the customer is doing. So from a technical aspect, again, it's having that conversation with the customer, understanding what he's doing, but also deeply interested in what he's doing. So I found that the more interest you had in what the customer was doing, a lot of the times, David, I wasn't there to sell, but it would come up, right? You would go into the shop, you would, hey, how you doing, David? What's happening? You know, let's go out in the shop and see what you're doing. Number one thing you could do as a salesman is get into the shop, because that's where you're going to see everything. You're going to see the pains. You're going to see the issues that the guy might be having. Maybe you're going to see a machine that's in the corner that's down. Maybe you're going to see a turning center and understand that the guy might need a saw. Maybe you're going to see so many parts on the floor waiting on pallets to get into machines that you say, hey, maybe you need some automation. You know, if those parts are still sitting there at the end of the day, let's get some automation that those can run at night when no one's here. And that's not the greatest thing for every specific job, but for the maybe gravy or production that's, you know, not, you know, gonna wear your tooling, or maybe it's not the tightest tolerance part where you have to have eyes on it 24/7. It's well worth trying to figure out what that best solution is. So those technical, you know, roadblocks, if you will, that you would get from a customer standpoint, maybe aren't so much just, again, related to the application. Maybe it's also just related to how he's you know, currently running those jobs. And I always found that just having that interest and developing that relationship with the customer, that's where then they let you in, and they let you, and they trust you and understand, like, Keith is here for a reason. He's here to help me solve a problem or find a solution, do something I've already got. And that was always my game. I never felt like I was selling, and the technical aspect of those sales came up at a later time when we were, you know, kind of more connected. Maybe I had sold him, you know, 2 or 3 machines already, and the trust was built there in understanding that what I did sell them that first go around was the right solution. So they trusted me as I, you know, led them into a better solution. There's a very good customer of mine former customer, I should say now, Armstrong Manufacturing and Engineering. They're up in Auburn, California. It is amazing. And I mean an amazing shop, David. But early on, they had a lot of Haas's, and then they bought a Hitachi Seiki 3-machine cell from us, horizontal cell. And it was the right machine for the job at the time. But I sold them maybe another 15 Haas's in between that. The last 5 machines they bought, all automated horizontals or 5-axis Matsuras. So taking those jobs off that you may handle, you know, 2 or 3 different times for ops 1, 2, 3, or 4, or find a fixture that you would have to create to get that angle on another machine, or they were all now done in one, or set up where the customer now, the automation related to the job that related to the part going out the door in a way more efficient manner.
So that reminds me too, how important it is to start with just being authentic and genuinely having an interest in the person.
Totally. And again, I think some of that too, right? It's hard for guys. You know, when you're thinking about sales, and Bill Selway reminded us this, if you always think about the money that you're going to get from the sales, you're going to have a hard time selling, because the interest of the customer is not at hand. You've got to have the ability to connect with the customer. And then when you do, and it is genuine and it's authentic, like you just said, everything falls into place. But with having a passion for the industry like I do, and again, I'm blessed to be a part of this industry. Having that passion and understanding what the industry can give you, I think it's the greatest industry on the planet. Every economy needs manufacturing as a backbone of the economy. And these guys that we call on every day, David, right? You know it. They're the salt of the earth, the best people I've ever met in my life. I have great friends from 30 years of being in this.
That's amazing. So the industry, it seems like it's evolving a lot, right? How do you stay ahead when it's evolving like that? What are some tools you're using to stay ahead?
From the sales side or from the shop side?
Both. Let's do both.
Yeah. I think from the sales side, you got to change with the customer. You got to always understand that maybe what you did today yesterday is not what you're going to do today. And honestly, the question is spot on. It's exactly why I'm in Texas. You know, a very good customer of mine about, what are we in, 25? So this was about 2021. I had sold him. He was up in Reno, Nevada. Great medical company, Hamilton Company. Phil Linscheid, one of my favorite people in the industry. He bought 25 Matsuras from me. He bought 23 MAM 35Vs. Yeah, so 23 vertical 5-axis Matsuras with 32 pallets and 330 tools. And about halfway through that purchase, he was on about, Matsura number 12 being delivered. He called me up. He says, "Hey, Keith, come on up here. I got to give you some, crap about Matsura." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Just come on up. We'll have lunch and I'll let you know." So we go to lunch and he says, "Listen, you got to understand something." He goes, "A lot of the guys I work with are, in their early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, and they don't necessarily want to see a salesman." He said, "They want to look for what they're trying to find online first. And then you may or may not get a call, but they'll look and find that information first and then bring it to me and I'll make the call." He goes, "Matsura, their website is just terrible." He goes, "I'm looking for LF and LX and Cublex models that he just couldn't find." So, right, we say a lot of times, David, from this side of it, that when I started in 94, we were lucky to have brochures, but we were door to door and you drop off brochures. Well, 98, 99 came and you had the advent of the internet, of course. And then as you saw the turn of the century and you saw these guys that took these brochures and just put them on their website and said, "Okay, we have a website now. We got to be online." That was their answer to having a website. And so it changed the game fundamentally when he said that, because he's right. These days, the kids or the people in the industry, and maybe not necessarily even it's just the kids, it's a lot of the people, because we're so busy. Everything's now. They do want to go online first. Look at how you buy cars. Look at how you shop at Amazon. Look at how you look for things online, whether it's exercise equipment. It could be anything, clothing. And people, I think, are falling into that same routine with the machine tool industry. I look at what we did with Silent that first year, which was January of last year to this year. So a full calendar year. We had, God, I think it was in the end about 1,200 leads from the videos that we put out. We sold 88 machines from those leads. And I didn't go to one single shop. So you look at how that is. And I love it. Sometimes I'll get on the phone and they'll be like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with that guy? He's jacked." That's just how I am. I'm enthusiastic when I get on the phone with these guys. But, they don't know Keith. My other guys that I called on for 30 years, they'd see me come in the shop. "Keith's here, right on. Let's get down to business." But, that being said, when you get on the phone with these guys, some of them don't even want to get on the phone. They'll just text and email and that's fine. So I think that change, and then again, what Titan's platform is doing is going to be a very, very big part of what we see in the machine tool side. Again, I go back to the car, industry, the automotive industry, and you look at how people, buy cars now. I bought my last 5 cars online and had them shipped directly to the house. I don't want to go spend time at a dealership. Yes, you want to see the machines, and that's why we have this beautiful 40,000 square foot facility here in Flower Mound, Texas. But being that you have that here, if you're local, come see us. The doors are open. But if you're not, we've had people from New Mexico, California, Florida, Minnesota, Kansas, Oklahoma, all come down to visit just to see the style. So to answer that question, I think it is. I think that's the change. I think you're seeing, the door-to-door maybe is taking up a lot of time in the salesman's schedule. Yes, it's great for relationship building and seeing product and seeing what's happening on the showroom floor. But with internet today and being able to do what you and I are doing right now and get on a call and speak with a customer, a lot of that can be done through that. I had a great conversation with a gentleman in Wisconsin the other day. We did this, and such a nice kid. He's a manufacturing engineer. He's calling from his house. He's want to put a machine in the garage, and we hit it off. It was such a great conversation, and hearing what his dreams are about wanting to start his own shop, we connected immediately. So this makes it easier and you can get a lot more done. So I think that's the biggest thing that we're seeing in terms of the change that will still be, ahead of us. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. No, it's using any tool that you can to make it more convenient for all parties. No, that's awesome. Now, we are over time on this. So Keith, I appreciate the incredible conversation.
Sorry, I could talk.
No, that's it. Hey, I'm the same way. It's in our sales DNA.
That's right.
Keep doing what you're doing for the industry. For those of you watching, stay tuned for more industry experts like Keith.